Yeah, good morning, all of you. Yes,
CI and which
boss, your
consists of
boss
three
is your
web.
central instance. Yes, till
So I
EC.
have a doubt.
Yep, go ahead.
So actually, what is the difference between CI and CSI? CSI is the only
No, no,
thing
no, no,
whether
no.
it.
See, leave the CSI part. That's what I
Okay,
yesterday I told you.
okay, sir.
Don't focus on CSI today. Only CI and DI, team lead and team member. That's it.
Okay, sir.
CSI I'll explain. Only in case of NetWeaver, we need CSI. Otherwise, there is no meaning for CSI.
Okay, sir.
Okay, I'll explain. Don't worry. Okay, see this, guys. See this, all of you. This is what I explained yesterday. The customer missions, customers, they will log into the application servers, and application server contains the data. Like SAP will be installed in the application servers. So you have a sales data, you have finance data, and all the data will be there in the database level. But to access everything, we need to have containers called application servers. So this is what we discussed yesterday. And now, see this, guys. Yesterday, we discussed about the presentation layer, application layer, and database layer. Presentation, application, and the database layer. Presentation already we discussed, like a kind of GUI, graphical user interface. You need to install in your laptop or desktop. Then we can connect to application server, whether it is SAP or non-SAP, whatever the way you are connecting to your SAP system, the request goes to application server. Once your request is validated, whether it is a ABAP stack application server or a Java stack application server, the request will be validated. Then the request will be sent to database. If the request is coming from GUI, graphical user interface, the request will be sent to ABAP, application server ABAP. If the request is coming from the Internet Explorer, as I told you yesterday, if you have a ICICI bank account, online banking you are doing from mobile app called ICICI.com. Mobile app you install in your mobile phone, and the second way you are giving www.icici.com. So these are the two different ways you have to deposit the money or withdraw the money or whatever you want. You want to transfer the money, anything you can do by using these two modes. The first mode, through app, when you are connecting, the request will be directly sent to NetWeaver AS ABAP. And if the request is sending from the Internet Explorer, from web browsers, web servers will take care of your request. From web servers, the request directly goes to application server called Java Stack application server. All the web-based requests will be handled by Java Stack, and the requests which are coming from GUI, either it is Windows-based GUI or Java-based GUI or HTML-based GUI, the request goes to ABAP Stack application server. Then only once it is processed, the request will be sent to database layer. This is the third layer. Are you clear, guys, all of you?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Sir, when Java comes into the picture, sir,
Pardon?
all the GUI types of requests are handled by ABAP. And what this Java is doing?
Web-based request, web browser-based request will be handled by Java Stack.
Okay, so browser is not under GUI.
No. Web-based in the sense by using www dot so and so, http dot so and so, something like that. If you give, these requests will be handled by web servers.
Okay, so like portal systems.
Portals,
So like,
portal, yes, enterprise portal, NetWeaver, PI Java systems. Or you have any web-based modules, we need Java Stack for that. Okay, next, see this, guys, carefully. This is what we are talking about from last 3 to 4 days. If you have only like a two system landscape or one system landscape, if you talk about SAP R1, or if you talk about SAP R2 or R3 or multi-tier architecture, Two-tier architecture, GUI and application server and database will be there in the single hardware, and the users may connect from browser or web GUI. Web GUI means GUI for HTML or SAP GUI. Whatever the way you are connecting, the request will be sent to two-tier architecture, and that is how the request will be processed. But in the three-tier, application servers are separated. Your application servers are separated from the database, and the request which is coming from web GUI or SAP GUI, the request will be sent to application server. Then application server, it goes to database layer, database server. So this is how the request will be processed in the three-tier architecture. Two-tier means it is a SAP R2 and three-tier SAP R3. And multi-tier means it is after ECC, after NetWeaver, internet is there in the middle between the presentation and the application servers, and this is how the request will be processed. Only one new layer is introduced called internet, and that's why we are calling it as multi-tier. We should not call this as a three-tier. Why? Because there is an internet in between, and we are allowing the load from the browsers also. Earlier there is no browser concept till SAP R3, but after ECC, through browsers also users can connect. That is how the systems are planned. So this is
one doubt, sir.
Yep, go ahead.
Sir, one doubt, that is until R3, like it was presentation layer, database layer, that comes under ECC system. And when internet was introduced, it became means a presentation layer, application layer, database plus internet. It is a NetWeaver system. That is the main difference between ECC and NetWeaver.
See, in the last diagram, internet they mentioned, right? That
Yes.
means the application server is web-enabled application server. We don't see internet is just a medium. We cannot see that, right? But if your application server is working based on the web-based technology, that is web application server, then we can call this as a multi-layer, multi-tier architecture.
Is it like ECC plus internet equals to NetWeaver?
Exactly. That's why we are calling it as web application server or NetWeaver AS ABAP or NetWeaver application servers.
Okay.
NetWeaver means there is a internet inside. Got it?
Yes, sir.
Any questions, guys? Any questions? Okay. Next. Guys, mute yourself. Mute yourself. Yep. Yeah, see this, guys, carefully. So, in the ABAP stack application server, a NetWeaver AS ABAP or ABAP application server, you have primary application server, you have central service instance, you have dialog instance. So, central instance, earlier till ECC, we are calling it as central instance. But right from HANA, right from NetWeaver, we are calling it as primary application server. Getting all of you? But central service instance, we are calling it as, okay, I have not updated. Okay, I'll update that. So central service instance can be called as ASCS. AS, application server central services. Application server central services. ASCS. Next, dialog instance. Dialog instance can be called as additional application server. This is the latest terminology. Right from HANA, we are calling it as additional application servers. So, okay, let me go back here. Let me open the notepad. See this carefully, guys. See this carefully, all of you. The first application server can be called as primary application server. Second one can be called as CSI. Right from the third till the last one, how many you want to implement? Those are the dialog instances. That's what we discussed. So, what you have in the central instance, how team lead is different to team members. So, central instance will have message server, gateway server, NQ server, ICM, ITS, Internet Transaction Service, and Software Deployment Manager. These are the central services will be part of central instance. And along with this, you have dialog work process, background work process, update work process, pull work process. Team lead will contain all these work process and services. Team members will contain only these work process. That means these are the additional services will be part of primary application server. Getting all of you?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Here I wrote down here. You can see here central instance, everything is there. But in this dialog instance, only dialog work process, background, update, and spool work process are there. Getting?
Yes,
Getting
sir.
all of you. But what about CSI? CSI, nothing is there. I don't find anything here. So CSI, as I told you already, CSI is the additional application server helping the central instance to perform their job duties properly in case of Java stack. When Java stack is there, there is a meaning for CSI. There is no Java stack, there is no meaning for CSI. So whenever you have Java stack environment in your organization, these are the services, these are the things. Couple of services can be moved to CSI. That means I can move like this. I can keep message server in CSI. It's up to me. See, I'm overloaded. I'm a team lead. I'm overloaded. I'm assigning another person. Guys, can you do this? I'm unable to take the interview today. There is an interview. Can you take this? Yes, they will do that. And guys, there is a monitoring activity. I'm completely busy with my work. Can you do that? Someone will come and they will do that. So that means one application server is completely dedicated to manage the load which is excessive, which is coming from the Internet Explorer. Why? Because message server is precious. Message server is the key component in the central instance. If it is overloaded, if it is collapsed, then entire system will be collapsed. That's why we need to protect this, and you want to keep this in the any of the application servers based on your requirement. Getting, guys? Your message server, you can keep it in the CSI. It is purely your requirement, guys. Okay. In case of Java stack, you may see CSI in the, message server in the CSI. Otherwise, if there is no Java stack, message server, you may find it in the central instance itself. But what you have in CSI? CSI will be blank. Nothing will be there. Got it, guys?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Any questions? Any questions, guys?
No, sir.
Okay, done. So now let me explain what is message server, what is gateway server, what is NQ, what is ICM, what is ITS, and what is SDM. These are the services will be there in either central instance or CSI. It will be there in either in central instance or CSI. So it's up to you, but these services won't be there in both the instances. Either it will be there in the CSI or CI. That's it. So message server. What is message server? Anyone? Already the people who are working, can you answer? What is central instance?
For message server, it works as a load balancer. Any request
Message
comes from
server
the
is a load balancer. Okay.
any request comes from the user. It will check how many whether how many work processes are available to assign the work.
Okay, go ahead. That's it. Who is this?
Rajesh.
Yeah, tell me, Rajesh. That's correct. What you said is correct.
The message server
Any
is
other answers,
responsible.
guys?
The
Yeah.
message server is responsible for communication between the application servers, and it passes request from one application server to another application within another application server within the system.
That's correct. Very simple, guys. Okay, you can refer this chart. Okay. See this carefully, all of you. As already we know, the request goes to, guys, you can mute yourself. Okay. If you want to talk, you can unmute and talk, then unmute yourself. Okay. Yeah, listen me carefully. If you have 4-5 application servers, the first application server is the primary application server, like team lead. All the presentation systems, whatever the request they are generated, the request will be sent to message server. The request will be sent to message server. By default, message server will receive your request. So, as per this diagram, you can see these are the 4 application servers are there, or 5 application servers are there. These 5 application servers will be connected together with the help of message server. So this is how the request will be processed, guys. Okay, let me show you. Wait. Yep. This is how the request will be sent to host A is the primary application server, and on the same computer central service instance CSI will be installed, and host B, another computer, host B, C, D, then additional application servers will be installed. As I told you, CSI central service instance you can maintain in the different computer, different host, or on the same host where the primary application server is installed. You can configure during the SAP installation. You need to decide. So from different presentation systems, the request is coming from either SAP GUI for Windows, Java, or web browser. The request will be sent to primary application server. In the primary application server, by default, the request will be handled by dispatcher. There is a component called dispatcher. Dispatcher job is to dispatch your request. Dispatcher will take all the user requests from different modes of communication. They will take the request. Then dispatcher will have a dispatcher queue. Dispatcher will have a dispatcher queue. Then all the requests will be kept it into the dispatcher queue. Whatever the requests are coming, somewhere around 100 requests are coming or 200 requests are coming, dispatcher will take the request. It will keep all the requests into the dispatcher queue. There is a queue here. From the dispatcher queue, one by one, the request will be sent to worker process. Down the dispatcher, you can see D means dialog work process, U means update work process, B background work process, S spool work process. Here I mentioned, you can see here DBUS, dialog, background, update, and spool work process. These are the worker process. That means your request will be processed by the worker process. These are the capabilities of team member. Even in the team lead also, these work process will be there. Whenever the load is less on the leading capabilities, then team lead will work as a team member also with the help of these work process. Dialog work process, background work process, update work process, and spool work process. These are the total number of work process we have in the system. Are you getting, guys?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Any questions?
Once again, sir, can you repeat this from message server?
So, okay, let me explain. Message server is there for the communication. You know, I'll explain. I'm coming to the message server only. Okay, by default, from different end user machines, the request will be sent to dispatcher. Then dispatcher will transfer the request to the work process called dialog, background, update, and spool. And just assume all the work process are busy or all the work process are occupied, then the request should be sent to another computer called additional application server host B or host C or host D. The communication between host A, B, C, D will be established by message server. Getting guys? Message server will establish the communication between all the application servers in the landscape. Whether you have one computer or one application server or many application servers, but they are connected and working together with the help of message server. And the technically to say, message server is used for the internal communication within the database. Within the database, all the application servers will be connected together, or for the internal communication, message server will be used. Getting guys? Getting all of you?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Do you have any questions? Message server is used for the internal communication. That's it. Next, gateway. Gateway, RFC gateway. We kept it in the CSI. In this diagram, we can see. This is the diagram I have captured from S4HANA system. But in NetWeaver or ECC, if you see, gateway will be part of primary application server. Only message and NQ will be kept it into the CSI. So it is up to you guys. Any service you want to maintain in the CSI, directly we can move it here. That's it. So message server is used for the internal communication. Internal communication. Within the database, all the application servers will be communicated with the help of message server. And that means all the dispatchers will be connected. All the dispatchers will communicate together with the help of messaging server or message server. Getting all of you?
Yes, sir.
And message server will be only one in entire landscape. That means the message server will be part of either CSI or CI. Either it will be there in the CSI or CI, but it will be only one. We don't have multiple team leads in one team. In one team, only one team lead will be there. Like that. So message server will be only one in the landscape, one in the server, and that will be one in the landscape. So you can keep it either in the CSI or CI. It's up to you. Next, gateway. Gateway, you can see, gateway is there in the primary application server as well as CSI also. This is the service, however you want, you can maintain. Why we need two gateways? As I told you, message server will be only one in number. But gateways, if you have ABAP stack environment and Java stack environment, there will be a separate gateway for ABAP and Java stacks. So gateway will work as unique service, unique central service, and this will be used for the external communication. If the request is coming from non-SAP system or some third-party systems, so that is external communication. For example, if you talk about Amazon, Amazon will connect to Sony, Philips for electronics, and each and every organization, each and every third party will connect to Amazon, then only they can run the business. The data which is coming from the non-SAP sources, non-SAP sources means for you, SAP source means which is coming from Amazon. But if it is coming from non-Amazon resources, it is a non-SAP request. So any communication, if you want to establish like this from SAP to non-SAP, non-SAP to SAP, then we need to have a gateway service. Gateway will take care of only the request which is coming from non-SAP systems. Getting guys? Are you clear on the gateway and message server? These two will work for the same, but it will work in the different way. Internal communication, message server will be used. External communication, gateway service will be used. Got it, guys?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Next. Next, listen me carefully. ICM, Internet Communication Manager.
Manager.
ITS, Internet Transaction Service. ITS will be part of ICM only. So then what it will do? That's what we are going to discuss now. So as I told you, if the request is coming from Internet Explorer, the request will be directly sent to ICM with the help of web dispatcher. There is a web dispatcher in the central service instance. You can see here. In the central service instance, there is a web dispatcher. This is optional, guys. Dispatcher will take the request from the GUI, graphical user interface. But if the request is coming from Internet Explorer, normal dispatcher is not sufficient. To manage this load, we need to have a web dispatcher. Are you getting, guys? But if you don't have web dispatcher, how the request will be processed? Yes, web dispatcher is optional, but without web dispatcher, the request will be handled directly by ICM, Internet Communication Manager. Okay, so that means converting the unstructured request into structured format and structured reply to unstructured browsers, that communication will be done through ICM. ICM job is to, from internet, whatever the request is coming, that will be handled by ICM. That means from browsers, the request which is coming to SAP, that is a unstructured request. Getting, guys? Why? Because which browser, which technology they use, we don't know. But SAP will understand only ABAP request. So from the different technology, the request which is coming to SAP is an unstructured request for SAP, and SAP will convert that request into structured format with the help of ICM. So for this conversion, ICM uses ITS, Internet Transaction Service. Getting, guys? Getting, all of you?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Next, ICM and ITS, Internet Transaction Service and Internet Communication Manager. So these are the two things will work together. We don't see ITS separately and ICM separately. So from HTTP or HTTPS, any request is coming, the request will be sent to ICM directly with the help of web dispatcher. Got it, guys?
Yes, sir.
Any questions? Are you clear, guys, all of you? Message server. So far we discussed message server, gateway and ICM.
Sir, explain us about gateway once again.
Okay. What message server will do, Bhavani?
It will connect the application servers internally.
Okay. But external communication, if you want it? External servers in the sense development wants to connect to quality, quality wants to connect to production, or one development system to another development system, you want to connect it. So you need to have some cross communication. So at that moment, gateway services will be used.
Sir, can we understand gateway as a gate, means main entry gate of a society?
Okay. Okay. You know, firewalls will be there, right?
Yes,
Firewalls.
sir.
Have you heard about firewalls?
Yes, sir. For security
Yes,
purpose.
sir.
So what firewall will do? All external requests will be processed and it will be sent to your system. So that means The firewall job is to convert the unstructured format of request into structured format, and that is how the request will be sent to your application server. That means it will protect all your requests will be in the queue and it will be sent to your application servers. So firewall will protect your environment. So the same way, gateway will be used for the external communication. Getting, guys? Okay, let us take. I'll give you an example. So we are like a pharma industry, but SAP HR we are not using it. Instead of that, third-party HR module we are using it. So now, but if you want to run this business, if you want to pay the salaries, or if you want to apply the leave for everything, you need to connect to some third-party HR module, right? Getting right, guys?
Yes, sir.
Nowadays, we are using Workday for all these things. Workday HR portal, we are using it. Okay, Workday we are using for the leave and a lot of things. So Workday is a third-party tool that is not SAP. Okay, but SAP wants to connect to Workday and pay metrics for the salaries and all these things. Pay metrics we are using. Vertex, there is a Vertex tool we are using. All these tools will be connected to SAP with the help of gateways. Are you clear, Bhavani?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. Next, NQ, NQ service. You know, NQ means it will be used for the locking mechanism. Any of the resource is busy with any of the request, that resource will be locked. That resource will be locked until the job is completed. That means one work process is busy with one user request. Until the user completed the transaction, that work process should be locked. If it is not locked, what will happen? If any other request is coming up, it will try to process by the same work process. So one work process cannot able to handle two jobs at the same time. So it will handle only one job at the same time, one job at a time. If more than one job is coming up, the request should be distributed between multiple work process. So if the locking mechanism is not working, then obviously all the requests will try to process in the first work process only. So that's why the locking mechanism will work like this. Whatever the tables associated with one of the particular activity or one of the job, automatically that will be locked by the NQ service or NQ work process. So message server will be used for the internal communication, gateway will be used for external communication, and NQ will be used for the locking mechanism. Okay, so just a moment. Yep, you can see here. This is NQ, guys. Any request is coming from any of the user, the request goes to dispatcher. Dispatcher will handle the request, then it will assign one work process to the user. One work process is started processing your job means the user is making some changes in the database. So database level, he is making some changes. Until he is done with the work, until he commit the work, that particular resource will be locked by the NQ work process, and with the help of NQ's message server, this will be locked. That means whenever the dispatcher assign work process to the user, Bhavani is sending something to process. The request sent to dispatcher, dispatcher assigns one work process to Bhavani request, then immediately dispatcher will send that information to message server, so and so work process is busy with so and so Bhavani request. Then work process will started processing the request in the database, but message server will update to NQ service. There is a resource is locked. There is a resource will be blocked by the user so and so. Until this work is done in the database, the work process should not be assigned to any of the other requests. Then the lock table, it will make an entry. So there is a table called NQ table and the table called DQ table, ENQUE, NQ, DEQUE, DQ. The release lock information will be updated into DQ table, and if any locks are placed on any of the table, it will be updated into the NQ table. Got it, guys? Getting all of you?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
So
sir.
NQ will be there for the locking mechanism, but NQ doesn't get the information directly from the work process or dispatcher. Dispatcher will communicate to message server. Message server will communicate to NQ. Then NQ will lock the table. Whenever the work process completed the work, that means Bhavani got the reply from the database, then the job is completed. Then ABAP dispatcher will release the work process, dialog work process. Then that information will be sent to message server. Message server will release the lock in the table. That means the table will be free for other requests. So that means now this table can be used by other people. So any table, NQ will keep couple of locks like shared lock, exclusive lock, and deadlock. If any table is locked by the NQ work process, that is a shared lock. That means 2-3 people at the same time can work on the table. That means, just an example I'm giving. I'm trying to create one user ID in the system. Even Bhavani is trying to create one employee has joined in the organization today, and I'm creating that employee user ID. And Bhavani also, she got a same request, and she is trying to create a user. We both can create one like users at the same time, guys. Getting all of you? That means the table, the user USR02 table is shared, kind of a locks will be placed as shared locks. That means on the table at the same time 2-3 records can be inserted. So here shared lock will be placed. For example, if NQ is keeping the exclusive lock, when I'm working on the table, until I'm done with the table, that means I'm creating a user. One employee is joined today, I'm creating a user. Until I'm done with the transaction, anyone trying to add another user ID, they will get a message. The table is locked by user 1, and you will get only the read access. You don't get the write access. So once I'm done with the transaction, then you can log into the system and you can create another user ID. That means at the same time, 2 people cannot insert the records in the database. Got it?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Pardon? Are you clear, guys?
Yes, sir.
So then deadlock. Deadlock in the sense, only one user at a time they can connect to the DB or connect to the table, and another user is trying to connect to the table. User will get a message, the table is locked. So then user session will be terminated. So they cannot able to touch the table also. Example is client copy. When you are performing a client copy, when other user is trying to perform a client copy, user will get a message, already client copy is in progress. Then your session will be terminated. That means at the same time, 2 people cannot able to work on the same activity. For that, deadlock will be placed. Exclusive lock means first user will get the read and write access. From the second users will get the only display access. If it is shared lock, at the same time, 2-3 people at the same time, they can use the table and they can do whatever they want. Got it? Are you clear, guys?
Yes, sir. Clear.
Are you clear
Yes,
on the NQ service? NQ service is used for the locking mechanism. If any of the table is busy with any of the user request, the table will be locked. The work process will be locked until the user request is completed. This locking mechanism will work with the help of message server. Got it, guys?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Next, SDM. SDM. SAP Deployment Manager. Now, physically, if you see, we don't see SDM in any of the SAP systems.
It is in
But
Java, right, sir?
it is Java based. Exactly.
Yes.
So, SDM is needed for the Java stack for the deployments to convert unstructured data into structured. Exactly the same functionality what ICM was doing. But ICM is only if the user is connecting from SAP GUI based on the like internet based GUI or internet, then ICM will take care of your request. Especially if your environment is a Java stack based environment, then we need to have SDM. But now there is no more SDM in SAP, and everything is managing through ICM itself. So there is earlier, like old days when Java stack was introduced, SDM also they introduced, but there is no meaning for SDM today. Got it? Are you clear, guys?
Yes, sir.
Next, dialogue work process. I'll stop once I'll explain these 4 work process, and I'll give you some assignments tomorrow. Get ready with the assignments. Okay. Now, dialogue work process. So Bhavani is sending a request to check what is the gold rate today. She is connecting to Kalyani Jewelers or some jewelers, and she sent a guys, mute yourself. She is sending a request to see the gold rate today. So the request will be sent to application server to database. Then database will give you the reply. Database will give you the reply. The reply is today gold rate is so and so. This is the gold rate. Got it, guys? Getting all of you?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
These kind of requests can be handled by dialogue work process. All interactive requests will be handled by dialogue work process. Interactive. What is your name? I'm asking you, what is your name? You're saying my name is Bhavani. That is interactive. Getting, guys? But non-dialogue in the sense, I'm asking you to take the backup. I'm asking you to take the backup. Now, your backup is like a backup will take somewhere around 1 or 2 hours of time. Then you will confirm backup is taken. Got it? That is the job. That is background job. That is background job. That means the job, if it is taking long time, the job it is taking long time can be handled by the background work process. So listen me carefully. Dialogue work process will handle all interactive jobs. The dialogue work process will handle all interactive jobs. Got it, guys?
Yes, sir.
And non-interactive jobs will be handled by background work process or update work process or spool work process. Dialogue jobs, interactive jobs will be handled by dialogue work process. Non-interactive jobs will be handled by background or update or spool. What is non-interactive? Now I am scheduling the backup. And the backup will run for 2 hours, and the backup should start by 11 o'clock in the night. So 11 o'clock in the night, I don't be there on the system, but the backup will run. That is non-interactive job. Next, I want to update some records. I want to delete some records in the system. I want to update some records in the system. I want to insert something in the system. Anything is an update. Adding some new records to the DB, deleting something from the DB, or updating something into the DB. So everything is an update request. I'll give you more information on the update tomorrow. So even this is a non-interactive job. Even printing. Now you can select 100 pages of PDF file in your system and print it. Then 1 by 1 page will print it. So user interaction is not needed. But dialogue jobs, user interaction is needed. So wherever the user interaction is needed, those requests will be handled by dialogue work process. Wherever user interaction is not needed and user can schedule a job and he can leave, those requests will be handled by background, update and spool. Got it, guys?
Sir, few examples of dialogue work process.
Pardon?
So what are the few example of dialog work process of?
That's what I told you just now. If you enter one T code,
No.
T code, once
Yes.
you enter, you will get a page, right? You will
Yes,
get,
sir.
you will get one page. If whatever you enter on the system,
Okay.
you will get one page. That is a job of dialog work process.
Okay. So what all we are doing in SM37 or any T code
Anything,
that are,
any code you are executed, the result page will be displayed with the help of dialog work process.
and all the manipulation we do there is also done by dialog work process.
Yes. And
Okay.
non-dialog in the sense, these are all periodic and standard jobs will be scheduled with background update and spool. That I'll give you more information tomorrow. Okay. Clear, guys?
Yes, sir.
Good. So we'll meet tomorrow and I'll give you more information tomorrow, and tomorrow I'll complete the Java stack part. Okay.
Okay.
And one doubt, sir.
Go ahead.
Sir, when we are having some upgrade or update, like it's a long task we do it to some. So in that case, sometimes we need to wait for some like 2-3 hours, and some prompts comes and we need to give input.
That is
And
non-dialog.
this thing,
That is
this-
non-dialog.
Okay, but we are giving inputs also, na, sir. Communication is going is already is also done.
No. By default, any request will be handled by dialog work process. Dialog will take the help from either background, update, or spool. If user intervention is needed, then it will be handled by the dialog work process only.
Okay. So basically, you are saying that the main upgrade part is done by background process or NQ process, or update
But user
background process or update process.
communication and everything
Yeah.
will be done by the dialog work process.
Dialog work process. Okay, so this is the example of this three combination of the
Yep.
work process.
I'll
Okay,
give you more
okay.
information
Thank you.
tomorrow. Don't worry. This is very important.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, guys. We'll meet tomorrow. Bye.